My motivation for working for 211 is just really seeing, especially over the past couple of years, how much people are in need of the most basic services. And that motivates me to come in every day and just be able to provide a little bit of hope to somebody, like maybe they can get those basic needs taken care of, and when those are taken care of, that opens the door to successfully being sufficient in the world. A couple months ago, I had an elderly lady call in to the 211 line, and she was nearing 85, 86, and her veteran husband had just passed away. She was extremely distraught about that, number one, and then had mentioned that she was receiving veterans benefits, but for some reason had not been able to make her mortgage payment. After kind of digging a little bit deeper into the situation, found out that she was dealing with kind of the beginning stages of dementia, possibly Alzheimer's, and basically she had just forgotten that mortgage has to be paid. She had just had a friend come in and be like, hey, by the way, did you know your mortgage is due? And she's like, I've forgotten about it 2 months in a row, so I just got a notice basically that foreclosure is imminent. So we talked a little bit more about kind of that process and what she thought she might be able to do, and she could afford it. She was just kind of past the point of no return. At this point, I did have a couple of ideas of resources that would be able to probably come in and advocate on behalf with the mortgage company and explain the situation, get the foreclosure stayed while she kind of got up to date with the mortgage, and got other services as well to help her keep track of her bills and stuff like that. I gave her the resources, but we also have a process in place where if we think that person that's calling in might be vulnerable in the fact that they might not be able to access the resources once off the phone, we set up a time to follow up with them, make sure they access those resources. If not, then we can advocate for them with the agencies. So I called back in a couple of days. She had forgotten multiple numbers and had not really been able to access that information. And I was like, hey, well, why don't we just call these places right now? Called one particular organization, and within 5 minutes they had explained to me that absolutely they would be able to take her on as a client. They would be able to contact the mortgage company, advocate for her. So we got her transferred over. A couple more days passed, I called back, and they had successfully stopped the foreclosure, which was very exciting. And on top of that, between the resources that I provided and the resources that organization provided, they also got us set up with an options counselor through the local area agency on aging, so that someone would actually come in on a regular basis and be like, these are the bills you gotta pay, this is what's going on, let's get them taken care of. And as far as I know, she's still safely in her home, so that's really awesome. It really is just those little stories that sometimes you don't even really remember day to day, but you have to kind of sit there and think, what was that one thing that happened a couple months ago, just like this one? And then it kind of reinvigorates me to keep going day to day.